What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Miami Dolphins franchise. Please go check out the last video. It will be in a card above me, as well as the whole playlist if you have not been able to watch the whole series. It's all on my channel. Now, today we have a little bit of a different video, and that's why I'm calling it kind of like a 9.5 episode, just because we're not advancing the week and we are not playing the Ravens as I did advance to week 10. But we are not going to be playing the Ravens. We're just going to take a look around the league. We're going to do an in-depth look at the team, the stats, all that type of stuff. If I want to make any changes to the team, the depth chart, if I want to extend anyone and extend any of their contracts, and just kind of go over the whole league, just so if you guys have a favorite team, you guys can see how they're doing and what's kind of going on with who's leading in certain stat categories and all that type of stuff. So with that all being said, obviously those are the activities which you'll be seeing in the next video. But let's actually go first to the players ready to negotiate, as I do want to make sure that I get everyone's contract correct. Again, we're skipping Bass Wilkins, as I will be giving him his real life contract as that 5th-year option. Mostert, I'm still not okay with, just because he is a little older, but I won't be afraid of looking at it, as he only wants under $4 million, which is really interesting. I think I would rather do 3 years than 4, because he's going to start regressing soon and maybe heavily, and that brings him up into the $4 million category. So we're actually going to leave Mostert for now. The next person I do want to look at is Van Ginkel and see how much he's looking for. Still looking for like $7.6 million, which again, I'd rather just wait till free agency and try and get him. Adam Butler is a pretty good backup, but he is also looking for around $4.7 million, so we're actually going to wait on that as well. Teddy Bridgewater, we are definitely not bringing back. And then for the safeties, we have Eric Rowe, who is a pretty solid player and a pretty solid backup, and he's looking at just under $3 million, and that brings that to just under $3 million going 4 years. So I'm definitely okay with that, and he wants around 14.6. So sort of the signing bonus, you can get that back up to 14.6, and I'm good with that. So I'll just bring that back up to 1.25, and I'm okay with that contract to bring Eric Rowe back to the Miami Dolphins, and he is down for that, as we do have Eric Rowe back for the next 4 years, which I'm okay with. Brendan Scarlett, we are going to leave just because he's asking for a little bit too much money for a 71 overall. In my opinion, those outside linebacker contracts are a little pricey. Trent Sherfield, I am okay with, just because we have good depth receivers on that practice squad who can take his spot next year. Quincy Wilson is an interesting one, as he is still young and he is developing. I am okay with giving him a 2 or 3 year deal. I think I'm going to do a 3 year deal that's relatively cheap, as that's 8.82, and we'll bring it back up there with some salary just in case we need to cut him, as I'm okay with that, not giving him too much guaranteed money. So if we need to cut him, we do have that ability. Same kind of issue with Trent Sherfield is the same thing with River Craycraft. I think we have some guys who are ready to take over. Again, I'm not totally against bringing them back. That's why I'm not doing a withdrawal offer like I did with Teddy Bridgewater, but definitely not wanting to give him a contract extension right now. Duke Riley is a little bit old for me. Michael Dieter, I definitely want to bring back, as he should be cheap, and he's a solid backup who is versatile, who can be our backup center and our backup guard. And if we don't get anybody in the draft or anything to replace JC Tretter, who knows if we'll bring back, he will definitely be there to step up. So I'm actually okay with giving him a 5-year deal. I'm actually going to lower the signing bonus like usual, and then bring that money back up to about $2 million and see if he would accept that for 12.35 years. And he says that's perfect, as Michael Dieter is back on the Miami Dolphins. Landon Roberts, I am going to wait on a little bit, I think, as if I give him a 3-year deal, it does drop it to around 3.5, and actually I don't even hate that. I wasn't going into this thinking I would bring him back, but honestly 3 years, bringing up to 30, maybe I have to cut him in his last year, but he's a solid run stopper, and I don't hate him coming into the game on those run downs. So I'm actually going to offer this with 9.6. Let's lower the salary like usual, or the signing bonus. Let's up the salary a little bit back up to 9.6. We can actually lower this a little bit more now. Let's lower that to 550. Let's see if he can accept that for around 2.5 million, as he does not love it. So that's okay with me. Nick Needham is a pretty solid young corner, and he's been actually doing okay in this lot, not great. But if we do give him 5 years, it just comes down to under $3 million for a 76 overall player who's only 24. That is pretty good. 20.1 million, as we will usually do. Try and make them sign a little bit more of a salary-based contract, so that's what I would prefer, as we will offer him that, and he accepts the deal. So Nick Needham is back as well. John Jenkins, I'm okay with, and this is one of the big ones in JC Tretter, as he wants just under 10 mil, and I do think I'm going to wait a tad just based on, I'm going to look at the draft in this video as well, just to see who our potential guys might be to get. So I am going to wait on JC Tretter, but he's definitely on my mind, as again, we don't want to waste too much cap space on that center position, but it is something we're looking at. So just to recap, Wilkins, again, that's no worries. We'll have a 6th option in the game. Mostert, I am kind of lukewarm on, but I probably will try and bring him back, just not right now. Then Ginkle, it's not looking that likely just because he does have really good play on the field. The thing is, the contract is just way too big for him. But again, he's not out of the running or out of my mind to be on this team in the future for sure. Same thing with Adam Butler. I'm not too sure about Brendan Scarlett. I doubt he comes back. Same with Trent Sherfield. Honestly, River Craycraft is probably the same for him as well. Duke Riley, I do like him and I like the vibes he brings to the team. But in Madden, we will see what happens with him. And then, like I said, with John Jenkins, he's just a veteran. I kind of skipped over him. He's just a veteran, so we'll see what happens with him. $4 million for 1 year is definitely too much for him, though. And then JC Treader is a big one, which I'm not too sure yet on. With the contract extension part taken care of, let's jump to the Scout College players, as that is something I definitely want to check out, as we will go to the prospects here. As let's take a look at who is the projected top 5. This is Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Paris Johnson, Miles Murphy, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Brian Breesy, Bijan Robinson, who's creeping into the top 5 in terms of talent, as we have completely scouted him, and he's a top 5 talent, so we might have to trade up for him, as he does look like he's going to go near the top 10, although he is a running back, so we'll see. So again, that's a guy we are definitely looking at. He fits a scheme, fits everything, a position of need as well, so he's definitely a candidate for us. And then there's a few other guys down the list here, as Jordan Addison is here. Obviously, you guys know, probably he's in the news recently a lot. Keely Ringo, a lot of notable names here to look at. Noah Sewell, if we do decide to go with another middle linebacker. Again, I hope that Channing Tindall can be that future guy alongside Jerome Baker, so that he is already under contract. But yeah, not too bad here. And again, Bijan Robinson is the guy. He's probably my #1 candidate. He's already completely scouted, so that's obviously why, because again, he is the most likely candidate that I'm thinking about drafting if we were to trade up for him. So that is what's going on with the draft stuff so far. Now, what I would like to do is kind of go over our team and the stats that our team has been providing so far, just because I do want to go in depth and see if I want to make any depth chart changes, and then we'll look at the whole league. Tua Tagovailoa, man, he's been a pretty solid quarterback, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. The picks are a little high, but we are throwing for a lot more yards than I considered or thought we would in the first place. So he is looking like our future quarterback for sure, man. There's a little bit of a rough start against the Bills and Raiders, but since then, man, it's been smooth sailing. So I'm definitely happy with Tua Tagovailoa as our quarterback so far, and he will be the quarterback of the future. He has averaged over 300 yards per game, which again is a little high in terms of realism, but I think that will probably come down as we want to make him a little bit more efficient. But yeah, not too bad there with the 24 touchdowns and 9 picks. Rushing wise, Raheem Mostert has definitely solidified himself as that running back 1, but it is still definitely a committee. Like I always say, like he gets injured a little bit, so it's unfortunate for that. Chase Edmonds has been really efficient in his limited touches. We definitely want to get him the ball a bit more, but he's been great out of the backfield as a receiver as well, so that's definitely good to see. Sony Michel, I don't want to get into the average too much just because I feel like we don't give him that much of a chance to succeed, because of a lot of his runs come within the 3-yard line, so it's not even it's not even possible for him to get over that 4-yard average, so that's fine, as he has got just as many touchdowns as the rest of these guys, so he's been fine as a free agent running back. And then Tua Tagovailoa has done okay as a runner. Haven't run too much with him though, as he's predominantly a pocket passer. Receiving wise, man, Tyreek Hill has been amazing. 850 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns. Same with Jalen Waddle, 848 yards, 7 touchdowns. They are second and third, I believe, in receiving yards for the entire league, as we'll get to that. So honestly, they're incredible. Those are our 2 top receivers for presumably the rest of this season, and definitely going on into like the next 4 or 5 years. Those 2, and I honestly, I hope Jalen Waddle is here for the whole time. So these guys are definite stays. Mike Gesicki, man, he's been balling as a tight end, man, as a receiving tight end. He struggled blocking, obviously, but he's been incredible, and he's already got that contract extension, so he's locked in as well. Cedric Wilson's been doing good. Again, it's really tough for these guys. As you can see, Chase Edmonds almost has as many receiving yards as Cedric Wilson, just because Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill just are always open, so it's really funny how I thought Cedric Wilson would be a little bit more involved, but unfortunately he is not. Durham Smythe has been a really good red zone target actually, and he's been pretty good as that backup tight end. But yeah, receiving wise, that shouldn't be changing too much going forward, just because we do have those elite receivers. Blocking wise for our offensive line, Michael Dieter obviously hasn't played that many snaps, mostly just special teams. Same with Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg. Robert Hunt in 500 snaps has not allowed a sack. That is awesome to see, as he is a young player and he continues to be progressing. As like I said, and this is what I think of in real life, he could be a Pro Bowl guard, so that's great to see. Connor Williams doing good, only 1 sack in 520 snaps played, so that's really good for him. Same with JC Treader, so that is something I will take into account when going over his contract for sure. Kellen Deach does have allowed 2 sacks in those 356 snaps played compared to Austin Jackson's 165 snaps played, and he allowed 0 sacks, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure I remember him allowing a sack, but maybe he hasn't. So honestly, and Liam, by the way, Teron Armstead, he's allowed 3 in those 500 snaps, so honestly, that's just what I'm rolling out, and that's actually my fault, so can't even blame him for those. But what's going to happen now is we're actually going to put Austin Jackson right back in at right tackle. And then if he struggles, we're not going to go back to Kellen Deach. We're actually going to go back and try Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. The thing is with Liam Eichenberg is that you can't just move a guy. Like, it obviously is Madden, but in real life, you can't just move a guy all the way to a different side. Like, obviously, that's what we're doing with Austin Jackson, but that's because, like, in my mind, that's what they are doing in camp right now. So we will actually, sorry, this is the roster. We're actually going to go into the depth chart, and we're actually going to make Austin Jackson the starter at right tackle. So he will come back as the starters. Maybe we'll rotate it, honestly, and just see how they play, just so we can get a better view of these 3 guys in Kellen Deach, Austin Jackson, and Eichenberg. If Austin Jackson struggles, we're definitely give Eichenberg that shot, as he just hasn't got that shot, other than those few snaps for when Teron Armstead was unfortunately hurt for those couple downs. So yeah, if Austin Jackson struggles, Kellen Deach will not be the next man up. It will be Liam Eichenberg, so we'll just make him the backup just to make that clear. As again, Kellen Deach did not do as well as I thought he would, even though he is a bit of a higher overall than Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson has found himself back into the starting lineup, which again is a little surprising, but he's probably the best person we have for that spot right now. Going into the defense, man, the defense has been pretty good. Honestly, they haven't been great on those first drives, and they have struggled against some premium talent, so it is a little bit tough. But they have been doing good. Brandon Jones leads the defense in tackles, which is a little surprising. Javon Holland just beside him, so the 2 safeties leading in tackles. Jerome Baker with 39, as he's been incredible. An interception, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Byron Jones as a cornerback and Nick Needham over there definitely getting tackles. They are letting up a couple too many catches, and that's why they are leading in tackles. But yeah, so at least they're doing a good job tackling them when they're getting the ball, so that's good with me. Xavier Howard has been amazing so far, one of our premium defenders, and Channing Tindall has been pretty good as a rookie. He's up here in terms of tackles. Look at Christian Wilkins for tackles for loss. Emmanuel Ogbah has been incredible too, man. He has been ridiculous. Maybe our best player on the whole team. Definitely the best player on defense. It's just like him and Xavier fighting for that spot. Jerome Baker has been awesome. And Christian Wilkins has been awesome as that run stopper, which is really nice to see. Sack-wise, it is a little bit balanced as we don't have 2 guys going all over the place, but it is Ogbah, Baker, Wilkins, and Phillips. I do think Phillips, if he didn't miss one more time, he would be up there. So take in that he has played way less games. I think he missed 4 games, and he still is up here for sacks. So hopefully he and Ogbah can get going, as Jerome Baker, again, really can't speak enough about him. As Xavier Howard has 5 interceptions already on the season. He's been incredible. Javon Holland has been an awesome safety in coverage, flying around, and then Jerome Baker. And then that 1 interception by Jalen Phillips, which was really cool. So the defense is doing pretty good. As Jason Sanders, he has missed 4 kicks, so not great, but again, he is under that big contract. He hasn't missed an extra point. He will be our kicker going forward. It is honestly just me sucking. So unless we find a guy like a Justin Tucker in free agency or something like that, that is presumably our kicker. And again, he does have a pretty large contract, so it would be tough to move him anyway. Just taking an overview look at the lineup, as we do have Tua's balling out, man, +6 to his morale and his boost, so that is really good to see, and those receivers who are going crazy. On the offense, there is really no depth chart change I am looking to make, as I'm okay, other than switching Austin Jackson for Kellen Deach, so that is the starting lineup going there. And then on defense, I do think it's time we elevate Channing Tindall to that second linebacker, so that's what we're going to do, as it is now Jerome Baker and Channing Tindall as those starting linebackers. As you saw, he was doing really well in his limited snaps to get those tackles, so he has definitely moved up and has earned that spot. Jalen Phillips obviously back in the lineup. Andrew Van Ginkel doing good. Brandon Jones and Javon Holland is a very, very good safety duo, so that won't be changing, as Jerome McKinley and Eric Rowe are great backups. So now that we have those re-signed, those are our 4 safeties going forward. And then on the cornerbacks, man, obviously we're not touching Byron or Needham right now, as there's no one really ready to step up into that spot. And defensively, Sealer's been really good in his snaps. Butler's been really good, so nothing really too much to change on the defense as of now, other than those 2 changes. And obviously Morstead and Sanders are your kicker and punter. River Craycraft has not fumbled a kick return. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it, so he will be okay, as we do just want to secure the ball, and we're not looking to put Tyreek or Waddle there just in case of injury, as Michael Dieter is the long snapper, so that's good with me. Specialist wise, again, all good. Nick Needham is the slot corner. Ugbo, Wilkins, and Phillips are those rush guys with Raekwon Davis as that second one. I'm actually going to put Sealer in just as a rush defensive tackle. I think he does a little bit better to clog up those holes. And Jerome Baker, Channing Tindall is that new second linebacker. Obviously for the slot receivers, primarily Waddle, then Lynn Bowden, then Cedric Wilson. And then Chase Edmonds will continue to be the third down back as he succeeds in that role. And then Sony Michel obviously will continue to be the power back. He's probably one of the only power backs on this team really. And then this is the practice squad as we do have 2 slots empty. Still have Skylar Thompson, Preston Williams is still here. Hopefully he doesn't get claimed. Blake Ferguson, Larnell Coleman, Solomon Kinley, Robert Jones, Sam Eguvon, and Javaris Davis, as well as Joe Williams. Let's go sign 2 practice squad players just to fill that out, as we did lose a couple of guys, as you saw during the videos as they went through. As I believe it was the Seahawks who claimed Chris Trevor, and that's fine as well. So we will be looking at these practice squad eligible guys. Looking at a few guys who I will recognize in real life as guys who I like, or guys who the Dolphins have signed, as there isn't that many guys. Tyler Gauthier, I believe, used to be on our team, so I'm definitely just looking for anybody. I don't see anybody that interesting, to be honest, for this eligibility for the practice squad. Jerry Jacobs does look a little bit interesting, so we will assign him to the practice squad. 22-63 scheme fit cornerback. Love that from him. So with that being said, that will be the roster going forward and the depth chart going forward. As we did get into our stats for the players, let's look at a couple of the team stats here. As in total offense, we are in 5th, which is really nice to see the offense really getting going. Passing wise, we are 4th, so Tua Man definitely showing out as that passer. And then rushing wise, we are probably not near the top, as we have been a little bit limited in that, as we are just in the top half, so just slightly above average. So I definitely think we need to get the run game going to limit what Tua is doing. Points per game wise, we are in 5th, behind the Buccaneers, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Patriots. The Patriots are a little bit surprising, but honestly slot right in there. As in passing touchdowns, we are right there at the top, just behind the Chiefs with the Buccaneers. And rushing touchdowns wise, I doubt we're anywhere near the top, as we are just slightly, again, above average. So the running game looks like it's slightly above average. The passing game is definitely above average. So definitely want to get the run game going more and let Tua kind of just chill out a little bit. So gonna try and get that run game going, as I always say, but then I just end up never doing it. Defensively, though, this is where it really gets interesting. As total yards allowed, we are just in the top 10 probably. That's what it probably is. Passing wise, I don't believe we're at the top, just because it's been a little tough on those first drives, as we are near the bottom in terms of passing yards. So definitely, like, I feel like that's more in terms of on the defensive line if we don't get pressure, and we are one of the only teams who run like predominantly man-to-man and only man-to-man. So again, it looks a little worse than it probably actually is, but we definitely need that passing defense to step up. Other than Xavier, obviously he gets burnt a little bit, but the picks are just so important. So definitely need Byron Jones and Nick Needham to improve. Rushing yards, though, we are easily at the top, as we've only allowed 520 yards rushing, so that is really nice to see, as our rushing defense has definitely been awesome. And then points allowed, we are in the middle, as we are just below average actually in points allowed, so we've been allowing a couple too many points. Sack wise, we are at the top, just in that top 5 there, as we do have 24 sacks, which is really nice to see. And then interceptions wise, we are just inside the top 5 as well, which is really good to see. Conversions wise, this is actually going to be really interesting. We are 5th for third down percentage. Fourth down, I don't really care. And 2-point percentage, we are 66%, so that's really cool to see. And then red zone efficiency, we are 2nd at 78%. And then defensively, we are actually, I don't know if that's the worst or the best. I have no idea actually if like this means that they're allowing the most or if they're not. So we're either the worst or the best. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. And in penalties, we do have the least, but that's just how it is when you play all the games. Like, that's nothing I can really do for the penalties. Turnovers wise, actually I didn't even know this was in the game, if I'm being honest. I don't know if that's an update, but the turnover difference is 7 for the 49ers. Let's go see where we are as the Dolphins, as we are actually negative in the turnovers. So even though our defense has gotten a lot of turnovers, we definitely have lost a few, as we do have 12 giveaways in the 9 interceptions and 3 fumbles lost. That's mostly on Tua, so we definitely need to improve that, as we do have 11 takeaways from the defenses. We do have 9 picks and 1 fumble reception, I guess something else for the takeaway. So definitely something we need to keep an eye on there. So again, we're looking at Byron Jones and Nick Needham to step it up. Tua to not throw as many picks and fumble the ball. The next thing I want to do is just do these staff points, as we definitely need to get that out of the way here in this video. So let's look at these talent trees for these coordinators. Honestly, like, again, there's not custom coordinators, so I did as best I can. What do I actually want to upgrade? I'm probably just going to do Mike McDaniel first here. So let's just keep upgrading these things just so that it costs less for our coordinators. And again, we are just looking to do that, as we will probably get through all of these by the end of the franchise. So nothing too big going on with the stat points there as we do upgrade those. So that is very good to see as we will back out here. And now let's see the standings and let's see how some teams are doing. And let's see the overall stats. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over the entire league standings first, and then we'll go into the stats after to see how teams are where they are. As we are leading the league at 8-1, which I guess is a little surprising, but we'll see because the schedule does get a little bit tougher here as we end the season. The Cardinals are 7-2 as they do still have DeAndre Hopkins for the whole year. He wasn't suspended in this league technically, so they are 7-2. The Steelers, man, 7-1. So Kenny Pickett, I don't know if he's ripping it up or it's just the defense, but they are definitely 7-1, which is a little surprising because their team is pretty good. But Kenny Pickett as a rookie, Patrick Mahomes keeps leading the Chiefs. The 49ers, the Bucks, not surprising here, 6-2. The Patriots are a little bit surprising here at 6-3, as I thought they would fall off a little bit more. The Ravens are 5-3. The Cowboys are 5-3. The Packers 5-4 as they lose Devontae Adams. The Colts are 5-4. Broncos 5-4. So a bunch of teams in this 5-4, kind of 4-4 range. The Saints I thought would be around this as they do have an amazing team, and then they just have Jameis, which we'll see how he does. The Bills I expected to be way better, to be honest. The Chargers should probably be a little bit better than that. The Raiders too, as again, that whole AFC West should be a little bit better. The Eagles are 4-5, which I mean, I guess is around what they'll do. I think they'll probably do a little bit better than that. The Texans are definitely outperforming what I think they would have done. I thought they would be way worse. The Browns, I think they should be better because they do have Deshaun Watson, and he's not suspended, I don't think so. I thought they would be doing better as well. The Titans not doing great with Ryan Tannehill, so maybe it will be the Malik Willis show in Tennessee soon. The Jaguars are doing about as expected. Same thing with the Seahawks, Jets. Actually, the Jets I thought might be better than the Patriots this year. They're kind of similar in a bunch of ways, so we'll see what happens with those two teams, but they are definitely doing worse right now. And the Falcons are doing a little bit worse. And then here is a surprising one. The Rams are 3-6, which is very surprising. I have no idea what happened there. As a lot of these teams, you can see them doing bad and them doing poorly, but the Rams is just out of nowhere. I don't know what's happening with that. As the Panthers, Lions, football team, Bears, Giants, and Vikings rounded out. The Vikings are also really surprising to be at the bottom of the league, but I guess they're going to fully embrace that tank now. But I'm just surprised because, again, I would think they're better than a lot of these teams. The Vikings and Rams are definitely underperforming what they should be doing, so that is really unfortunate there for those two teams. But the rest of the league is kind of where it should be, but it's as close as it can be. Like I didn't make the ratings of the people, so again, that's just the roster grader. The only ratings I touched was the Dolphins, so definitely it's not bad. As you see, the top performers here: Tua in third, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in second and third, and then we have Xavier Howard leading in interceptions, tied with Patrick Surtain. So definitely the league leaders do seem a little bit more legit, as we'll get into those stats, but the teams isn't too bad. Like, I feel like a lot of the teams that are bad should be bad, other than the Rams and the Vikings. And then there aren't that many teams doing that great, which is surprising, so I guess we'll see how they finish the year. But definitely an interesting first half for those guys. Again, not too bad in terms of realism, but there is a couple, outliers again with those Rams. So now let's get into the stats and awards before just the entire NFL, as I do want to see who is doing what, as let's go into the entire NFL for passing. And for the entire NFL, what do you know? It is Tom Brady leading with passing yards, 2,955 yards with 24 touchdowns and only 4 picks. Patrick Mahomes in second. Not too surprising there either. 25 touchdowns, 6 picks. Obviously, Tua just under 200 yards behind those guys, so definitely a couple yards behind those two top players. And just as many touchdowns, just throwing a few more picks, so definitely need to calm that down. I think making his workload a little bit less so that he doesn't have to throw that much will lessen his interceptions. That's definitely something we're going to look at there. Joe Burrow playing really good, 15, not too many touchdowns, but limiting his picks, so 15 touchdowns, 4 picks, really good for him. Stafford seems to have like a decent year, 16 touchdowns, 8 picks, nothing special, but definitely not anything poor that would make them that bad, so I'm surprised that they're that bad. I have no idea what's going on there. Mac Jones, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks, kind of similar to Tua, just a little bit worse. Davis Mills doing pretty solidly at 18 touchdowns, 12 picks. Same thing with Derek Carr. You'd assume he'd have a few more yards, though, as well as Aaron Rodgers. You'd assume he had a few more yards and definitely less picks for Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert struggling a little bit, which, again, is surprising. Can't say myself that I think he should be doing way better, honestly, than 12 touchdowns, 6 picks, and only 2,200 yards. He should definitely be doing way better than that. Justin Fields definitely playing better now without Matt Nagy, technically, in this year, so good for Justin Fields, as I think he's a pretty good quarterback, and definitely I think he was the second best quarterback in that class. But that's neither here nor there. Kyler Murray is playing incredible. That is definitely the reason that they are 7-2, I believe. Like we talked about, the 16 touchdowns, only 3 picks. Great from him. Russ on the Broncos playing good. 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. Hurts having a great year, being very efficient. Not too many yards, but 17 touchdowns, 3 picks. That is definitely surprising. Same thing with Marcus Mariota, kind of in the same vein there as a rushing quarterback. And Deshaun Watson not throwing for that many yards as you would think. And Ryan Tannehill definitely struggling a little bit, which is why the Titans are doing bad. So again, like I said, maybe the Malik Willis show is coming to that town. As Jameis Winston is doing okay. Same thing with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's doing a lot better than expected, as you'd think he'd be pretty bad. Dak Prescott, not too many yards, but definitely being way more efficient. 16 touchdowns, 3 picks. As I'll let you see the rest of the players here. As I guess it is Trey Lance starting, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Actually, no, I might have adjusted the overalls, like basically just adjusting stats that don't matter to make his overall a little bit higher, as he should be the starter. So 14 touchdowns, 5 picks for him. And Matt Ryan being really efficient, using Jonathan Taylor, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, as Jared Goff doing what Jared Goff does. Lamar Jackson down here in terms of passing, but again, he is mostly running. And then Kenny Pickett, not even doing anything crazy, so a little bit surprising that they are tops of the league. So I guess it is the run game, and then Najee Harris is probably going crazy. That is the next thing we're going to look at, as he is going crazy. 3rd in rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. So I guess it is the Najee Harris show. Same thing with Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, and then Damian Harris. So honestly, it's kind of the usual suspects of who's leading in rushing. So rushing-wise, it does look pretty good. Melgo having a little bit of a resurgence. Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, James Conner. Again, a lot of the usual suspects. So honestly, rushing, it does look pretty good in terms of realism for who is leading the league in rushing attempts and yards. Average, though, it is obviously we're getting back to the running backs, because again, these are just guys who got end arounds and stuff. As is Dalvin Cook at 6 yards per carry, which is really cool to see. And then touchdowns wise, Leonard Fournette already has 17 rushing touchdowns. The Bucs continue to roll. Ezekiel Elliott with 12. Joe Mixon with 12, Christian McCaffrey with 11, and Alvin Kamara with 10, as that rounds out the guys with double-digit touchdowns already. Receiving-wise, Mike Evans probably got so many of those yards against us in that game. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in 2nd and 3rd. And I guess Randall Cobb, that chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, it does prove to be working, as they are using him tremendously after using Devontae Adams, as he has 800 yards. Cobb really not suspected in this league, as he has 700 yards. And Marcus Valdes-Scantling taking over for Tyreek Hill as that deep threat, and he's doing pretty good in his new home. Same with Jared Cook, as he's been incredible, the top tight end in terms of receiving for those Buccaneers, and Juju doing well. So damn, those Chiefs receivers are stepping up, as a lot of people don't know how they're going to do in real life, but I guess Mahomes is making it work with those 2 receivers. Robert Woods for the Titans doing pretty good on his new team. Keenan Allen doing pretty good with the Chargers, and Justin Herbert, Cooper Kupp, Michael Gallup, as I'll give you guys all a look, as Tyler Lockett does good with Drew Lock. Again, I'll just scroll through the list here, and if you want to pause it or something and see any players, as you saw Mike Gesicki there, as that is a pretty good look at the receiving wise. Honestly, very cool. I love to see Devontae Smith up here, as I think he's one of my favorite receivers in the league. I love his route running ability, all that type of stuff. Blocking wise, it's hard to see because they will have a bunch of guys with not that many snaps in here, but AJ Cann playing good, Cam Robinson playing good, so definitely worthy of that contract. But we will swiftly move on to the defense, as it is Kamu Grugier-Hill, former Dolphin of the Houston Texans, who does lead the league in tackles. He's been playing pretty good. Demario Davis, he's a stud middle linebacker. Shaq Thompson, Corey Littleton, J.O.K. for the Browns, Rashawn Evans for the Falcons, Anthony Walker, Bernardrick McKinney, who is in this league, who seems to be falling out, but he's doing good for the Giants, as he's probably around an 81 overall for them, as in this league he's still up there and he hasn't fallen off. Nick Bolton doing really good as a young player. Matt Milano, like I said, I really like him as an underrated linebacker. So those are the tackle leaders for your respective teams, as it will just scroll down here a little bit, just so you guys can see any of your favorite players and what they're doing. Sack-wise, let's see who the leads in sack. Wow, what a surprise it is, Aaron Donald. So he already has double-digit sacks, and he continues to rave havoc. Kamiko Toure, this guy, he did good against us. He had a sack against us, and he continues to rip it up. Don't really know him too much, but he's doing really good. DeMarcus Lawrence doing good. J.J. Watt has a resurgent year. Chase Young finally back to what he was doing, definitely proving he should be one of those top picks. Matt Judon has been great for the Pats since they've gotten him. Trey Hendrickson continues to be one of the most underrated players in the league. Shaquem Griffin. What the hell? I believe this is the brother of Shaquille Griffin, and he does only have one arm, and he has 7 sacks. That is ridiculous. Good for him, honestly. Love to see it. Love to see it for him. And guys like Josh Allen, Max Crosby, all these other guys. So that's very weird to see. You wouldn't think he'd be up there in sacks, but there he is. So giving you guys another look at some sack leaders for your teams. And then that is pretty much it, other than interceptions, where it's not showing Saban, just a glitch. But Patrick Surtain, Jonathan Jones becoming that interception god for J.C. Jackson as he left. JOK doing great as a linebacker. He's led in tackles and interceptions, so he must be playing great. Darius Leonard as well, as I will give you a look at all the guys who got interceptions. So a cool look around the league here, man. A cool look at what guys are doing, who's playing well, who's not playing well, where teams are. And honestly, a great look around the league. With that being said, though, guys, I don't know if there's anything I missed. Please leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see, as we will probably do another one of these at the end of the season, as we are basically at the halfway point of the year in this franchise. So again, please leave a comment if you want to see anything that I didn't show. I think I showed mostly everything, so hopefully there shouldn't be any problems with that. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.